Hello everyone, this is Lego Lover 117 coming back at you with another episode of Home Media Reviews. Today's review is on The Name's Murphy, RoboCop, and not the remake from 2014. That's a subpar remake in my opinion. It's actually not that bad, but this one's on the original, the best one. Not RoboCop 2 or God forbid RoboCop 3 or any of those Prime Directive TV movies. Nah. The original. Let's not waste any more time. Let's jump right into the history section of RoboCop. So this is our oldest film we have covered on this series so far. RoboCop was released in theaters on July 17th, 1987. Jeez. 87, man. What a good year for films. The only one I can recall is RoboCop, actually. Hang on. Let me do a quick Google search. Oh, Lethal Weapon came out that year. Lethal Weapon was really good. That came out in 1987. Lost Boys, Full Metal Jacket, The Untouchables, Dirty Dancing, which sounds like a porno. Oh, Predator. How did I forget Predator came out in 1987? What is wrong with me? So yeah, a lot of good movies came out in 1987. So back in the 80s, it took quite a long time for films to actually make it from theaters to VHS back then. In the case of Star Wars, for a quick example here, the original Star Wars, A New Hope, took 5 years to come to any home media format, which will be relevant for later on in the season. For RoboCop, however, it took just shy of 6 months, which is still a long time, considering it takes 2 to 3 months nowadays for films to hit theaters and then hit home media. RoboCop wound up on VHS and Laserdisc, a long dead format there, in February of 1988. Couldn't find an exact date on when it was released, but it was February of 1988. The original DVD release of RoboCop was exactly 10 years later in 1998 under the Criterion Collection, interestingly enough. DVD was a emerging format in the late 90s, early 2000s, so kind of makes sense that they would release RoboCop first. Its original Blu-ray release, as well as a DVD reissue, came in 2007. Now, this is the theatrical cut that was put out on Blu-ray and on DVD. If you know anything about RoboCop, you know that there's a unrated or X-rated director's cut out there. And that's pretty much the most prominent cut you'll find on media today. Back in 2007 and back on VHS and Laserdisc, that was the theatrical cut. According to my research, though, there was another Blu-ray plan that was going to be released by Sony for RoboCop. This was also the theatrical cut, but that was canceled for some odd reason. I forgot to mention, the original Blu-ray came out in August of 2007, and this Blu-ray by Sony was going to come out in March of 2007. I guess MGM didn't have the resources to release their own Blu-ray then. There was another copy released in April of 2010, which was a Blu-ray and DVD combo pack, which we had not seen. And also later on in 2010, in October of that year, we got the RoboCop trilogy, which I'm guessing that was Blu-ray. I didn't put whether or not it was Blu-ray or DVD in my notes. I'm guessing it's Blu-ray, though. And that includes RoboCop, RoboCop 2, and RoboCop 3. Pretty self-explanatory there. Then, finally, in 2014, we got the unrated cut. Finally released onto Blu-ray. That was released in January of 2014, so not that long ago. We got another reprint of the RoboCop trilogy in May of 2014. Again, assuming that's Blu-ray. There was a Walmart exclusive slipcover artwork version of the standard Blu-ray, released again 2014. And then there was a Target exclusive metal pack, not a steelbook, a metal pack. We talked about the differences between metal packs and steelbooks in the Expendables 2 HMR. Metal pack version also released in 2014. That was released in June of 2014. The Walmart exclusive version was released in May. I don't know if I said that or not. It was released in May. Oh, hey, this is weird. Actual video for the history section. I just realized while I was editing this video, I get to this point in the audio and I start talking about, spoiler alert, this version of RoboCop here, the 2015 slipcovered version. But I forgot to mention that the last version that came out in 2014 was actually this version. This was a Comic-Con exclusive slipcover, exclusive to San Diego Comic-Con 2014. So I completely forgot to mention that in the recording. I figured I would just throw this in here to make this history section complete. And finally, our last copy was another Walmart exclusive artwork version, but this time it was a slipcover released again in May, but in 2015. So that is all your different versions of RoboCop. A lot of Blu-ray releases for RoboCop. I was surprised to only find there was only one date for VHS and Laserdisc. I would think there would be more reprints there, but in my research, I couldn't find anything else. If you guys know of any other versions of RoboCop out there on VHS or Laserdisc or even DVD, I couldn't find anything on DVD except for the Criterion Collection version. Let me know in the comments. There was a ton of Blu-rays released, though. Like, good lord. So now let's go ahead and move on into the close-up section for RoboCop. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, here's your close-up look at Paul Verhoeven's RoboCop. Now, unlike the last couple of weeks on this show, we're only going to be looking at one copy this time around because I only own one copy of RoboCop, unless you count the 2014 reboot, which I do own that, but we're talking about the 1987 original. So, just have one Blu-ray copy to look at here, and this is the most common Blu-ray copy out there currently, so let's take a look at it here. The top, the Blu-ray logo is kind of faded away. That was an accident when I was tearing the security sticker off of this case because I bought this new. It went whoop, and the Blu-ray logo came off. I think I did an unboxing video on this way back in the day when I used to do those every other week. On the front there, you see Alex Murphy in the RoboCop suit, directed by Paul Verhoeven. RoboCop, the unrated director's cut, the most common cut that you can find out there nowadays. It's actually the theatrical cut that's harder to find on physical media. You can catch it on TV every now and then. Got the MGM logo there on the side, RoboCop. Same image from the front with the Blu-ray disc logo down at the bottom. The back, RoboCop is remastered and more arresting than ever. Weird choice of phrasing there. UPC code there. RoboCop versus the Ed 209 droid with the blurb about the film. The bottom talks about a all-new Q&A with the filmmakers, plus other bonus content that we'll take a look at in the menu tour. Tech specs, Blu-ray specifications down there at the bottom, along with cast lists and legalese and all that junk. Open this up. This did not come with a digital HD code. There's your disc, very simplistic, with RoboCop up there at the top, the Blu-ray disc banner down there at the bottom, and the OCP symbol behind it. So that's your close-up. Let's go ahead and transition into our menu tour of RoboCop. Alrighty, everybody, here we are for the menu tour for RoboCop. So this has a pretty standard Blu-ray menu. You've got play, right there, setup, search, and extras. Search is basically just scenes, so you can play the movie. Our setup, we have audio and subtitles. Audio, DTS HD Master Audio 5.1 surround sound, Spanish in 5.1, French in 5.1, and Castellano Spanish, that's another form of Spanish, in 5.1. I think that's Dutch. Maybe that's German, I don't know. Italian and Portuguese. Some other language, another language, another language. We have a lot of language options on this. And also the audio commentary with director Paul Verhoeven, writer Ed Numier, and executive producer John Davison. So that's cool. Ton of audio options. I'm surprised. Subtitles, English, Spanish, French, Castellano. Remove that S and it's dank. Netherlands, Suomi. I don't know. Italian, Norse, Portuguese, Brazil. Language. Ton of subtitles as well as audio options. And English commentary. Geez, that's a lot of subtitles. Search, scenes, or bookmarks. Basically any scene that you have bookmark you can transition to in the movie. So here's how your scene option looks, as you can see on the screen. You have these little dots telling you where the scene is in the movie, as well as your running time over there. It's an hour and 43 minutes, so pretty short. But how many scenes do we have? 16. Now our extras are over here. Q&A with the filmmakers, 2012. Flesh and Steel, the making of RoboCop. A featurette about shooting RoboCop, making RoboCop. The Boardroom, storyboard commentary with animator Phil Tippett. Deleted scenes. Villains of Old Detroit, special effects then and now. RoboCop creating a legend. Paul Verhoeven Easter egg, and a commentary with those guys we mentioned earlier. Theatrical trailer, TV spot, and that's it. Ton of bonus features on this. I honestly don't know if I'm going to be able to watch them all for this HMR, but I'll watch a few of them and talk about them in the next segment. Speaking of the next segment, let's go ahead and transition and answer the 5 main questions as always. Alright, so we're back from the close-up. Now it's time to answer the 5 main questions as always. Number 1, where can you pick this product up? To tell you the truth, I have not seen RoboCop in stores recently, which is sad, for one thing, because I still see the remake in stores, and it sometimes makes me angry. But I actually picked my copy up off of Amazon. If you remember, back in, I think it was 2015, I did a really bad unboxing video of my RoboCop Blu-ray, which you saw in the close-up, and my Indiana Jones Blu-ray box set, which I still have to this day. If you want to look that up on my channel, you can try, but geez, I just remember that unboxing not being very good. That was back when I filmed on an iPod Touch that only shot in 240p, and everything I filmed looked like crap. Number 2, is this product still being printed nowadays? I'm going to say no to this, because I don't think there's a recent reprint of RoboCop in its future. Unfortunately, because more people need to see this, but I don't think there's a more recent reprint out there. Number 3, should you pick this product up? Yeah, 100 times yes, you should see RoboCop. This movie is excellent. The main reason I like it so much is because of the ultraviolence. We talked about this last week in Logan. I love ultraviolence, alright? I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff. And the way that Paul Verhoeven shoots his action sequences in RoboCop, they're hilarious. When the dude, Mr. Kenny is his name, he points the gun at Ed 209 in the office building. Ed 209 tells him, "You have 20 seconds to comply." And then, of course, Ed 209 goes insane, shoots the guy like a million times. I mean, I was laughing when I was watching this movie again. I laugh at that every single time. It's just hilarious to see a dude get blown to bits. And when Ed 209 stops for a second, reloads, and then keeps shooting him as the dude has collapsed onto the city plans, like the 3D plans they have on the table in there, it's hilarious. My absolute favorite scene, though, is RoboCop when he goes out on patrol for the very first time. He goes to stop some rapists. He shoots the rapists in the dick. It's so satisfying. I'm just gonna say that. It's hilarious. Your move, creep. Oh, jeez. So good. Not only does it have great ultraviolence, it also has a really good story. For some odd reason, normally I would complain about this in other movies. We don't get a lot of time with Alex Murphy before he's blown away. Hilarious scene, by the way, as well, when Clarence Boddicker blows off his hand. See, I got this problem. Cops don't like me. So I don't like cops. Boom! There goes his hand. Give the man a hand! Oh, it's so good. I gotta stop quoting it. I gotta get back to actually reviewing the film. Anyway, we don't get a lot of time with Alex Murphy before he's blown to bits. But just the subtle character cues that Paul Verhoeven gives to Alex Murphy, we understand him. We feel for the guy. He's new on the force. He has a kid. He has a wife. And he wants to impress his kid by being a good cop. That's pretty much the bare minimum for a good character. I don't understand why other films can't accomplish this with an hour with their main character before he gets blown to bits or something. I'm blanking on any movies to reference here, but lesser films that have come out in later years than RoboCop have not been able to replicate this. I mean, we get maybe 15 minutes of Alex Murphy. Not even that, maybe. Maybe only 10 minutes. I don't remember. Maybe it's only 5. It's not 5. It's more than that. I'm going to say 10 to 15 minutes of Alex Murphy character development. And it works. I feel for him when he gets shot up. I feel for him when he becomes RoboCop. Against his will, he's forced to be this robot policeman. He didn't have a say in that. I feel for the guy, man. Of course, this movie has great social commentary on the media and all kinds of stuff involving them and how they get the news to you real quick and all that stuff. And Verhoeven's just a master with social satire in that form. The villain in this movie is also amazing, Clarence Boddicker. Can't remember what his actor's name is, who plays him. It's not Ronnie Cox. Ronnie Cox is Dick Jones. Dick Jones is really good too. However, Clarence Boddicker takes the cake from Ronnie Cox. I can't say his name without stuttering. He's just hilarious in this film. He's so good, so charismatic, so evil. I mean, spoiler alert, I probably should have said this earlier, but when Clarence gets his neck stabbed by RoboCop, and he gets stabbed in the jugular, right? And his neck is just spewing blood out, and he's dying painfully. I'm sitting there fist bumping on my bed like, yes, die, Clarence. I liked you, but you are a terrible person, and you deserve this death. Am I the only one that roots for certain film villains to be killed in movies? I feel like I am. I also really admire how there's no romance in this. RoboCop is already married. He already has a wife. He already has kids. He has a kid. He never tries once to go for Lewis, his partner. I mean, he seems to flirt with her once in a while, but that's just cool guy mannerism, you know, coming from a certified cool guy like myself. I can vouch for that. I'm not cool, not in the slightest. So between the really good story, really good villain, really good main lead, and a really cool, intriguing sci-fi premise, why wouldn't I recommend this film? It's nearly perfect, in my opinion. I can't really think of any flaw I have with this movie. Unless you count how much time we spend with RoboCop before he goes on the fritz. We don't really spend that much time with RoboCop not being on the fritz, not investigating his own murder and such. He basically goes out on one patrol and then his program is kaput. He's off looking for something else. I wish we would have seen maybe a few more scenes of him going after people, but with what we got, I'm pretty satisfied with. That's just me overindulging myself. Other than that, though, there's really no issues with RoboCop. I would recommend that you see the unrated version, because that version is just the best. I remember when I was younger, I first saw the version of RoboCop that was broadcast on television, and I noticed that they cut out a ton of the bloody parts and a ton of the cursing and stuff, because I'd seen, clips of it online through reviews and such. I'd just never seen the full film, but I recorded it off of TV, and I watched it, and I thought, hey, this is pretty good, but what happened to the stuff I saw online? Then I got my hands on the unrated director's cut Blu-ray, the one I'm holding in my hand right now, and it was like going through puberty all over again. It was like reaching manhood. I'd finally become a man, because I had seen the bloody version of RoboCop. I had seen RoboCop shoot that man in the dick. I became a man on that day. So as I said, really good story, really good premise, good characters, good villain. It's just an all-around great experience, and you should watch it. Highly recommended. I would like to see a 4K restoration of RoboCop. I think this Blu-ray transfer, they did an okay job. It looks pretty good. It looks passable. Not the best, though. They could have cleaned it up just a little bit more, and I think with a 4K transfer, this could look amazing. Although if it's anything like Expendables 2, they could muck it up. Number 4, where should you pick this product up? Same answers as number 1. I would highly recommend you check Amazon. Amazon pretty much always has their Blu-rays in stock. Number 5, what price should you pay? Well, since I don't own the VHS or the Laserdisc, I'm not going to get prices for those. I'll probably never own those because those are obscure formats and are less superior to the format that I own this on. For the unrated director's cut version of RoboCop, the 2014 Blu-ray, $5-6. It's really not that rare. You can find it pretty much anywhere. There are people on eBay trying to sell them all the time. You can pick it up pretty much anywhere. The metal pack and the 2 Walmart exclusives, 10 to 15 for those. I hear those are pretty rare, especially the metal pack, especially in good condition if you want a metal pack without dents in it and such. The original DVD release is probably pretty rare if you want to find that in good shape. I remember seeing some copies on eBay when I was doing research for this going for like $50. That's a lot for a subpar format. For just the packaging and such, I mean, I wouldn't pay that. Of course, this is coming from the dude who bought Solo on 4K twice, so what do I know? So that's the HMR on RoboCop. Again, really awesome film, really good. It's a really good guy film, I guess you could say. I think all guys will enjoy this. Probably going to have a hard time convincing my future wife to watch this film, but you know what? She married me. She knows what she was getting into, so going to make her watch it. That and Expendables 2. If she doesn't like Expendables 2, then we're getting a divorce right then and there. We're done. I don't care if it's a honeymoon. We're getting a divorce. So we went back in time this week to 1987. Why not next week we go back a little further to 1975 and take a look at Steven Spielberg's directorial debut with Jaws. That was a very bad impression of the Jaws theme. I am so sorry I made your ears bleed. So anyway, Jaws is next week. Hope you guys are excited for that. Super excited to rewatch that. It's a excellent film. Spoiler alert. Of course I recommend it though. It wouldn't be on the show if I didn't recommend it. Thank you guys so much for watching. And excuse me, I have to go. Somewhere there is a crime happening. Good night, everybody.